Authorized by the temple elders, Saul was to pursue the heretics to Damascus. His path took him through the land of Galilee, where Jesus won over his first disciples. Where did his power come from? Alone in the heat of the desert sun, Saul was tormented by his thoughts. His mind turned to Stephen and his terrible fate. How could Stephen forgive him, the man who ordered his death?
While the blood of your witness Stephen was shed, I myself was standing by, approving.
A blinding light struck Saul to the ground. A voice spoke from the heavens. Saul, why do you persecute me? And Saul answered, Who are you, Lord? I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting. Lord, what shall I do? Go to Damascus. There you shall be told. Saul entered Damascus, helpless, sightless, and humble. One of the very men he had come to destroy had been told in a dream to seek Saul out and give him shelter. When Ananias laid his hands on Saul, the scales fell from his eyes, and his sight was miraculously restored. Blinding white light, it had been Jesus himself who had spoken. Saul begged Ananias to baptize him. Saul, the persecutor, was dead and reborn as Paul, a follower of Christ. Tormented by the guilt of his past, Paul left Damascus. What was he to do now? Where was he to go?
I did not confer with flesh and blood, nor did I go up to Jerusalem to those apostles who were before me, but I went away to Arabia.
Mount Sinai, where Moses had received the commandments from God, Paul made up his mind. Just as the word had been revealed to him, so he would now reveal it to others. He returned to Damascus, went straight to the synagogue, and began his mission.
If you confess that Jesus is Lord and believe that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved.
His words met with stunned silence. Was this not Saul, the exterminator of Christians? Had he become a traitor to his Jewish faith? They decided the heretic must die. Paul fled. The Damascus Christians smuggled him out over the city walls. In secret, he returned to Jerusalem to seek the forgiveness of those he had once persecuted. He was greeted with disbelief and suspicion. But one man had witnessed Paul's courage in the synagogue of Damascus and welcomed him to the brethren: Barnabas. He led Paul to Peter, the leader of the Christians. But even the approval of Christ's first apostle could not protect Paul. For some, the memories of Stephen's death were still too raw. They could not forgive Paul for his past. Once again, Paul was forced to flee. Betrayed and rejected, Paul retired to his native Tarsus. For 9 long years, he worked in his father's business as a simple tent maker. But he never lost sight of what he believed was his mission. Was it not he whom God had chosen on the road to Damascus? When would God find a purpose for his faith? The answer lay in Jerusalem. It was time to spread the word of Christ beyond the borders of Judea. The Christian leaders chose Barnabas to lead the mission. He in turn chose Paul, whose courage he remembered so well, to accompany him. Could this, at last, be the sign of God's forgiveness? As they set off, Barnabas knew he had chosen wisely. Paul was a Greek scholar and a Roman citizen. He had grown up surrounded by pagan faiths. No one was better qualified to take the word of Christ to distant lands. Their voyage began in Cyprus. Preaching first to the Jews on the east side of the island, Paul and Barnabas then crossed to the west, to the pagan city of Paphos, where magicians and sorcerers were still